due to the history of this country and its oppression that is only toxified continuously and perpetually throughout the years. The situation of young people is a people who's not given a chance to broaden their horizon due to the limitations that have been put in front of them.
Young people in Ikhaya are so much pressured. They have the pressure of going to school, graduate, don't get a job. Some of them, they pass matric and they can't continue further. Others, they drop out because they don't connect with the education that they're getting. Because some of the young people, you go home, your parents are telling you to get a job. But you keep applying with CVs, you don't get a job. Young people in Ikhaya as well, they are living in the box. They watch too much TV and they want to practice what they see on TV. So you find some of the youth that are living an American dream. You have everything, but you have nothing, where they say they are dancing their troubles away. But in the morning, you'd be hearing that somebody is dead from that dancing. All these ship-ins and all these drug sports are run by gangsters. So if the community is run by gangsters, young people need to find a remedy for themselves.
Within the whole movement that was happening of arts in the streets and in our neighborhood, there was a huge need for a practical element. So that's how I and the group, which was already active with the arts and the poetry, got to the point whereby we started the garden. And then from there, since we were already sharing knowledge through the arts, it felt only right to share knowledge through gardening as well.
We were a group of 5 poets when we started. So the school that we are in Ikhaya, is a Kokhele Primary School, gave us the space to do the garden.
When we initially started the garden, we arrived here, there was just nothing. It was a vacant spot. It was similar to a dumping space, if not just a soccer playing ground for the kids. So we arrived here, we started to clean up the space. We dug up a lot of waste, which was plastic, cans, bones, shoes. We ignited a lot of curiosity within the school community and the broader community around the school.
The relationship with the learners has been amazing from day one. The kids came in running and they came to ask what we were exactly doing. When we told them that we were going to be planting food, they thought we were crazy. So we embarked on a journey with them from that moment to actually educate ourselves and prove that food really comes from the soil, because they thought food comes from the shelves.
In terms of achievements of the garden, there's many that we can go through, but just to highlight a couple of few very simple achievements is having to ignite the interest of the teachers, since they are the first role models to the kids who already are in the school, since they see them on a regular basis in longer hours. So having to capture their interest, not just in terms of having to observe or view the garden, but having to want to engage with it on a practical level initially, whether it's requesting a specific plant or herb that they want to use, or having to ask questions based on what's happening in the garden. So for me, that could have been one of the achievements that stand out, because through that achievement, we have had a domino effect of many more achievements in terms of interest and engagement from the community.
We are more focused on education. We are more focused on bringing back the dignity of the people, the independency. We are more focused on self-reliance, where we say you can feed yourself from the small soil that you have. So we're more about expanding the knowledge of growing.
Water in our garden, of course, like Since we all know that there's been a water drought in Cape Town, it has been a crucial element, but not detrimental. So I would say we've done our best to sustain the garden, and it has survived through that era of drought. Luckily for us, since we have quite a magnificent garden that actually has a lot of diversity in it, it has been much more easier for us to go through this very stressful era of drought here. Talking about Kumis as one of the students or the kids we have here in the garden, it's been an amazing journey to have him. It's just that on its own. So of course, like anyone else who comes to something they know nothing of, they totally and completely oblivious. But one thing that came out as a beaming light was the amount of interest and willingness from him to engage, not just on a theoretical level of things, but practically to a certain extent, whereby the interest has gotten to the point we don't have to say things, we find him engaging. And the amount of interest and dedication he has put in towards gardening, not just within here at Ikhaya Garden, and more specifically at his own household garden. So for us at Ikhaya Garden, seeing that amount of enthusiasm and interest having to overflow, not just from the spaces that we get to teach them, which could seem to be a comfort zone, but actually to see them doing it even on their own without our supervision. It has been one of the amazing things to see, specifically to Kumisa, having to see him grow on his own, but growing along us.
Emmanuel used to come to the garden to observe most of the time, and he'd be asking a lot of questions about gardening, about plants, about everything that related to what we are doing. One day, he came to tell me that he had a garden, and he wanted to show me that garden. All the time he would come to the garden, he would say, "I want to show you my garden. I want to show you my garden." Then one day I decided to go to his home and see what he has done. And I saw some beauty that he has designed. And that's where I told him that why he shouldn't be joining us. So from there, that's where he joined the crew.
Through gardening, you have to be aligned with nature. That on its own, you have to be aligned with the seasons. So through gardening, that's where you get to be exposed to the laws of nature. And as I said, having to have a sense of humanity, which in my mother tongue is called Ubuntu, that's where you get to get the African values as well.
The garden has been life, and it's been an amazing life because you don't find that type of life in the townships, but with the garden is where you find the real things, that life does really exist. It's not a myth, but life is in existence through the plants, through the trees, through the flowers and the vegetables. It's life.
Never forget why you started something. It might be gardening or something totally parallel towards gardening. And never lose who you are in whatever you're doing, and always stay true to yourself and true to the core reason why you're doing what you do. And most importantly, always enjoy it.